So, well, shall we do what we usually do and just look for a word? Okay, so I'm going to open a document so it's easier for us to see here. Hang on. There, can you see my screen? Yep. So I don't see you so well, especially if somebody else comes. So you don't put your hands up. You're just going to have to talk and watch each other so that you don't talk over each other. Ah, here comes Mona. All right. Hi, Mona.
Hi.
So we just started, huh? Isn't it nice to have you here? Have you done satsang before? No.
Oh, a very long time ago.
But with us?
Maybe over a year ago.
With us?
Yes, with you,
Oh, you
yes.
did? Okay. So you remember that what we usually do is we look for a word or two or three, and then we explore what they actually mean for us. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the idea is, we all are looking for, more peaceful life and to be, and yet, here we have these words in our languages that are like landmines. They have multiple connotations, and just single word can have such profound impact on us. So as we look at these, it really helps to just see what we're dealing with and can give us many insights, as you've all experienced doing this over the time. Okay, so we'll begin. You just tell me words that you would like to explore, each of you. And then we'll put it to a vote. You all know what we do. You didn't come with any words?
I have one.
Okay.
Conflict.
Conflict. Okay. Okay. Anyone else top that? Yes?
Just to say my internet's a bit unstable, so I might just be in and out.
Okay, that don't worry. And if you lose us, you'll get the recording, but we hope that you won't. Okay, and you may need to turn off your video. It sometimes makes it stronger, but leave it on so as long as you can.
Right.
Okay, Linda, you had a word?
The word I've been thinking of was money.
Money. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, those two words seem to go together, don't they? Another one? Any others?
So I was thinking, I don't know if this is the exact word, busyness or productivity or something like that, because it's a trap I keep falling into.
Well, so find the word that has a big charge for you.
I think it's busy.
Busy or achieving? Busy?
Yes, that's just it. It's the achieving aspect.
Okay.
But it's usually phrased as busy.
Well, what triggers you more, busy or achieving? Or achievement?
Well, achievement is the unspoken word, but busy is the spoken word. So that would be the trigger, would it?
Well, we'll put busy. Okay, any others?
Miscommunication.
Miscommunication. Do you have something specific? Because you know how we do this, huh? So miscommunication is sort of odd one to.
Yeah. So
I mean, communication, that would make sense to, we could do, but.
okay. So communication, because sometimes it's not clear.
Okay. All right. So let's begin with conflict. So it seems like good timely place to begin. Yep. All right. All right. So, what would it be? Any ideas? Come on.
What is conflict?
All right, let's just begin with a simple question. What is conflict? Okay, so now we're all without heads and we're going straight to our bellies and we're going to find whatever comes from our bellies.
Conflict is disagreement.
Okay.
Conflict is uncomfortable.
Yes, but what is it?
It is fighting.
I can't hear you.
It is fighting. Fighting.
Conflict. Okay, so now imagine that you are speaking to a 6-year-old. I mean, they're so bright, could be a 4-year-old. So and they say, "So what is conflict?" But put yourself in it. You know? If you can. So conflict is fighting. Conflict is disagreement. Conflict is uncomfortable. That's more what it produces. Huh?
Conflict is a battle of ideas.
Conflict is when we argue about something.
So could I say something like, I feel conflicted when someone disagrees with me?
Conflict is trying to occupy the same space.
Now I'm a confused 6-year-old. Conflict is trying to occupy the same space. All right, let's try another question. Yeah, because sometimes the question is not. Let's see. When does conflict happen? Okay, and now we'll try and include ourselves in the answer.
Conflict happens when I'm right and you're wrong.
Count your 8 words, huh? 8 words maximum.
Yeah, that's 8 words.
Okay. It's 8 words. Conflict happens.
Well,
when
I said 4.
Right, and you are wrong. 10 words.
But if you put the conjunction, can't do conjunctions. Okay.
Is when I am right and you are wrong. When I am right and you are wrong, there is conflict. Maybe that's,
And vice versa.
well, it's,
But
all right.
Conflict happens when there's a difference of opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Conflict happens when I need to prove myself.
So conflict happens when I doubt myself. Mm-hmm.
And when I defend myself. And when I accuse others.
When I defend myself or when I am defensive? Yeah.
Defensive.
When I think I must defend myself.
Okay, so I don't think we found a good question yet.
Conflict happens when I feel threatened.
So, Mariana, you chose the word, find a good question.
I can't phrase a question, but I would like to know, why do I think conflict is so bad? Or, what are my negative connotations of conflict?
All right, so then how about, what is the role of conflict?
how can conflict be useful?
Well, let's see if it can be useful.
Yeah.
So then rather than asking how can it, say what is the role, maybe, yeah? Does conflict have a specific role? Or does conflict have a role in my life? Choose one. That last one? Okay.
Yes, the second one.
Which one? Does conflict
Does
have a role
conflict
in my
have a
life?
role in my life?
Okay. 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 So role, purpose. Which one? Role or purpose? Purpose? Maybe purpose is more specific, huh?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Mm-hmm. So does conflict have a purpose in my life?
Conflict reinforces my position.
I'm 60 years old. Give me a break. Put it into simple language. So Ben, good morning. So I'll read them out what we have so far. So close your eyes and so Ben can catch up. What is conflict? Ben, close your eyes. Conflict is disagreement. It's uncomfortable, fighting. It's a battle of ideas. Conflict is when we argue about something. I feel conflicted when someone disagrees with me. Conflict is trying to occupy the same space. Do you have something to add, Ben? Anything comes to you?
Conflict is trying to conquer the other, trying to dominate the other.
Okay. All right, next one is, close your eyes. When does conflict happen? I'm right and you're wrong. When I'm right and you're wrong, there is conflict. When I'm wrong and you're right, there is a difference of opinion. When I need to prove myself, when I doubt myself, when I accuse others, when I am defensive. Conflict happens when I think I must defend myself, when I feel threatened. Do you have another one, Ben?
No, it was the last one was what I was going to say. When I feel threatened.
Does conflict, so now we're up to, does conflict have a purpose in my life? Don't think about it. Go into your belly.
Helps
Yeah.
me feel safe.
Beg your pardon?
I say it helps me to feel safe.
Conflict helps me to feel safe. I'm 60 years old. That's really confusing me.
Yeah, I know. Confuses me too when I feel that way.
Right. So that's the first thing comes out of your gut. That's fine.
Yeah.
Conflict helps me to prove that I'm right and prove that I'm strong. Helps me to prove that I can take care of myself.
Conflict allows me to speak my truth.
Or I should say, conflict helps me to prove that I'm stronger than you. I'm better than you.
That's a good word.
Conflict stops me from being lazy.
Conflict helps me see when I'm wrong.
Conflict deflects attention away from me.
Conflict makes me look at myself.
Keep
I was
having,
going to say, sorry.
I just keep having like inner conflict coming up, you know, something
So
about inner conflict.
what's its purpose?
That's when it really makes me look at what's going on, why I'm reacting, why I'm
Right,
Yeah.
so put it in a sentence.
Um,
Don't think about it. Go to your belly.
um,
Don't think.
inner conflict. I can't do it in 8 words. Inner
Yeah,
conflict.
but just do conflict. It doesn't matter, inner or outer.
Helps me look at my own shit. I have a better way to put it. Sorry. My own stuff.
Conflict shows me the way.
Conflict makes me defensive. Conflict. Never lets me rest. Conflict. Shows me my weaknesses.
Conflict reinforces my rules.
Conflict confuses me.
Is that Merlin?
It's Yoda. She's saying something. She can't stop.
Yeah, Yoda, has conflict. What was she saying? We don't speak cat. Well, I just said conflict keeps me fighting. Maybe she was agreeing.
Conflict shows me more work needs to be done.
Can't you?
Conflict shows me more work needs to be done, or the need for work more.
I need to work more? Or work harder?
Harder.
Conflict motivates me. Conflict, conflict
Like I
gets
said,
me.
conflict gives me the job.
What'd you say?
It's
I
me
said
too.
conflict gives me a job. No, go on.
Gives me a job.
Well, wait a minute. What did you say, Ben?
I was saying conflict gets me to take action. Gets me to take it.
Conflict defies my control.
Conflict makes me. Tell me again.
Conflict defies
Conflict
my
what,
control.
Mariana?
It defies my control. Or my thinking I control things.
It defies my control. Is that the whole sentence? Conflict challenges my convictions. Conflict challenges my identities.
Conflict shows me where I'm stuck.
Mon, do you have any? Conflict makes me confused.
Conflict, conflict forces me to reevaluate.
So these are, a lot of them are very adult answers, yes? So what about as a little child? What did conflict mean to you then? They're the ones I'm getting in touch with in my gut.
Conflict makes me scared.
I can't hear you, sorry.
Conflict makes me scared. Scares.
Keep on going.
Conflict makes me stand up for myself, stand up for what I believe.
Conflict means I can beat someone up.
I can't hear you, Linda.
Means I can beat someone up.
Means I do not belong.
Makes me want to hide.
Conflict makes me obey.
My parents burden me with their conflicts. Conflict is a burden.
Really, conflicts makes me disobey.
Conflict is a puzzle I must solve. Something I have to understand.
Conflict helps me to fit in.
Conflict is dangerous to me. Conflict endangers my family. Conflict endangers my life. Conflict is something I must fight. Conflict is something I can think of something to be avoided.
Conflict shows me when I'm bad.
Or shows me I am bad.
Yeah.
Makes me do unkind things.
Conflict proves I am a failure. What did you say, Diane?
Makes me do unkind things, or it makes me unkind.
Conflict proves I'm guilty.
I check out when there's conflict.
Are you feeling this list? Yes. So Here are the ones that stand out to me. I mean, so where it says conflict makes me look at myself, makes me defensive. Makes me feel useless. Makes me scared. Conflict makes me stand up for myself. So each time where there's makes me, what is being said?
It has the control. I have no control.
So the conflict has the control. Okay, so just a moment. I'm just going to put these in bold so we have how often we say that. All right. Makes me unkind. So we're saying it makes me feel and it makes me do. Conflict makes me feel. Conflict makes me do. Conflict makes me think. Yes? Whatever. Okay, so the key word is makes me. So to me, this is the core of, at the core of conflict, at the core of overreaction, at the core of all the work we do. If there's only one thing that we focus on, it's like, so how can we understand this? How can we grapple with it? It's this deep, deep conviction that something or other, or somebody or other, or life in general makes me feel, makes me think, makes me do. So we use the language all the time, so simply. Yeah. Oh, that makes me feel really good. Oh, that made me so happy. Oh, you make me feel wonderful. Yeah. That makes me feel overwhelmed. So we use the terminology so lightly, and then nowadays we've in Psych 101 we're taught nothing makes us feel. Yes, it's not possible for something to make us feel. So we go, oh yeah, that makes sense. But it's never enough to just say that makes sense. We have to understand. We have to dissect this this profound conviction if it's ever going to stop having a hold on us. Yeah. So, are you okay with this, that we follow this line of this trajectory? Okay, because we are dealing with conflict. And to me, this is the root of all conflict. Yes, this idea, another country, a government, a politics, the climate can make me feel. Yeah, so it's profound belief that permeates all cultures. Doesn't matter what our religion or background or politics. So when I say something makes me feel, I mean, okay, just finish the sentence.
I give over my power.
I give it my power. I have no power. I have no control. What makes me feel controls me, yeah? What else am I saying? Just to put into context.
Hide my motives or my motivation to act.
When I say something makes me feel, I mean, what do I mean?
I mean, it is responsible for my experience.
Just wait a second. hang on a second, because Marianne, I was just asking her what
Oh.
she was finished her sentence. I didn't quite understand. Hold your thought, Ben. Yep, you think through it. Okay, Ben. You got your thought?
It is it is responsible for my experience.
Means I am helpless.
I am helpless. So,
I am at its mercy.
okay, all right. I am at its mercy. So, even if we say, oh, this sunset makes me feel so happy, basically what I'm saying, it has my power, I have no power, I have no control, it controls me, it's responsible for my experience, I'm helpless, I'm at its mercy, even if it's something positive. This is basically what we're saying. So it's an incredibly undermining statement. Yes, and it's also, I mean, especially because we use it in the love experience so much. Sorry, let me turn this off. We use it in the love experience so much. We can see we have to rethink love altogether.
All of my
How
emotions,
do you make
all of my feelings, everything that I experience is because of something else. It has nothing to do with me.
Okay, so all my experiences are caused by something other than me. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's too many words.
Okay.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
Right. So this is basically what we're saying, yes, that our experiences are caused by something else.
Yeah, I am totally insignificant in all of this.
Yes. So my experiences are caused by something other than me. This is what I'm saying. And then, because you're giving me an experience I don't want, now there's conflict. Yeah? So we could say the root of all conflict is the conviction you make me feel. It makes me feel. Yeah, we can conjugate make me feel. You are responsible for my experience.
But also the I statements, I make you feel, or I make, I am responsible for.
I make you feel. I am responsible for your experience. So either way, it's an incredible burden, yeah, like this hot potato burden that we throw back and forth in the name of love and religion and politics and, yeah. So it comes down to something so simple. So we can see that. It's helpful to recognize what these little words mean. But to me, that's not enough. So to me, we need to go deeper and understand. So exactly how do experiences happen? What was the question I had for you, Ben, for you in training? What causes experience, or how do experiences happen? Was that the question?
Yeah, how do experiences how do experiences happen? That's why I was smiling and checking. I'm like, oh, maybe I don't have to do the assignment anymore because we're doing it right now.
This is your chance to do it.
Actually, Esther,
Yes.
I'm getting stuck on something. So is there any experience other than what we perceive with the senses?
Well, how old are you? How many experiences have you had? What do you think?
Well, I think everything is, all my experiences are
Experiences.
what I,
You're with-
yeah. Like I don't have any of my own. It's only what comes to me from the apparent outside, right? Isn't that
But
right?
they come to you. They don't come to anybody else. No, nobody has the
Yes.
exact same experience. So they,
Yes, okay.
then we call them our experiences. So the question is, how do experiences happen? Or how does experiencing happen? Either. So the only way to answer this question is to explore your own experience and pay great attention. How is it happening? Because it would seem, wouldn't it, that we need to be clear on how experiences happen, because we can't just say, oh, I understand, nobody makes me feel. That's not enough. That's just putting one more strong, rigid connotation on top of a whole bunch of others. We need more than that. We need to actually contradict and undermine and prove this conviction why it's faulty. Yeah?
Appearance or experiences happen by interacting with the environment.
When so do with that they're yours, I interact with the environment. Yeah, so the environment makes you feel? No, that's still not disproving anything, is it? So first of all, let's put this question. What is the cause of experiences? Do we know? What's the cause of experiences? Do we know?
So are we asking personal experiences?
Well, that's the only ones we can ask about.
Right. We could be sitting right next to one another, having something occur, and the way, I mean, they often do that in accidents. The way I see it or feel it or experience it would be different than the way that you would, even sitting right next to me. You know,
So, what is the cause of experiences? And it could be, I don't know.
Cause is the perceiving of them? Or is it?
Yeah, I don't know. Experiences just happen.
I do not know. Okay. So I don't know the cause, but how do they happen? Do I know how? Do I know the dynamics of experiencing?
Well, how do experiences happen? Experiences happen when I become aware of what's when I become aware of what's happening.
So follow that thought. So what stands out to you in that sentence? Experiences happen when I become aware of what is happening. What stands out to any of you in that sentence?
awareness.
Yeah, so I become aware stands out to me.
And
Yeah.
then
So then how does that happen? Can't hear you,
Like
Diane.
then my conditioning takes over. You know,
Well,
however
yeah, but
I,
that's experience. Yeah, but then you're going, what happens afterwards? So we're looking, what happens? So how do
Well, the-
experiences happen? What's the dynamic?
Well, even that little phrase, I become aware, it implies that there's a point when I wasn't aware.
Okay, try not to be philosophical and just go to your experience.
A thought.
There's a thought. So I don't see you if you're putting your hand up, Mona. So just speak. So all of you just speak, because I can't see you all. So what did you say? Make a full sentence, Mona.
Experience happens when there's a thought.
When I have a thought.
Yeah. Or when
So
a
are you
thought
saying
occurs.
thoughts cause experiences?
I think it starts it off.
when I have a feeling,
Experiences begin with a thought?
Yeah.
You think so?
I think the feeling.
Experiences begin with a feeling.
I still think that experiences begin with awareness.
Yeah, so now follow that through, Ben. So how is awareness possible as human beings?
Well, you have to be aware that you're aware. Aware.
Yeah, but how does it manifest in the human life? This awareness.
There has to be an other. There has to be something else
Right.
to be aware of. I need to be aware of something in order to be aware.
And how does the awareness happen?
Through the senses, do they not?
The senses. Okay, so follow that thought.
Well, there's
Who said the senses? Was it Mona or Diane? Diane, yeah. So all of you followed that thought. So do senses precede thoughts or thoughts precede senses?
senses precede thoughts.
Deep thoughts.
So first there's senses, yes? Okay.
Or sense input, information, sensory.
Awareness, senses, seeing, hearing, touching, tasting.
Yeah, and then so then you have to sense something, so there has to be an object of some kind, something.
Okay, all right. So sense meets object. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
All right, so the senses meet the object. Sense or senses? So let's have an example. For example, I walk into my bedroom and there's a dead rat on the floor. Been there for a couple of days. So what senses are going to meet this object?
Yeah.
Smell, sight.
Yeah, well, sense of smell, of sight. Okay, for sure. So senses meet object. Okay. Okay, so smell meets dead rat. Sight. So smell meets fragrance of dead rat. Sight meets image of dead rat. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm feeling a reaction and I don't know where it comes from.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reaction to that. I don't
Right.
know necessarily there's a thought yet. There's just a reaction.
Right. So, and a thought can come quickly.
Yeah.
But so there's immediately there are reactions, yes?
Yeah.
Experiences.
Mhm.
Yes. So smell meets fragrance of dead rat, sight meets image of dead rat. Experiences. Yeah. I experience smell meets fragrance of dead rat. I experience nausea, maybe.
Yeah. Revulsion.
Sight meets image of dead rat. I experience shock, maybe, yes? And immediately there can be thoughts, like that's revolting, yes? But we say, I feel revulsion, yeah? But there's a thought, so then there comes a story about it, okay? So, senses meet object. Equals experience. Okay. Then comes a story about it. That makes me feel sick. Yeah. So immediately we're going, the rat makes me feel. But actually, no, it's just been an organic process that's happened in us. Sense meets object. So the senses themselves, are they an experience? Seeing, hearing, tasting, touching. So it seems the senses themselves are an experience, yeah? Are awareness. So experience precedes, it happens simultaneously. Senses meet objects. So without the object, for the senses to meet.
There's no experience.
Mm-hmm. So can something make us feel? So does the dead rat make you feel nauseous? Does it cause the nausea?
I just missed that connection.
Does the dead rat cause the nausea?
Well, the nausea wouldn't be there if the rat weren't there.
But does the rat cause the nausea? So, for example, I was married to someone who had absolutely no sense of smell. I had a father who had no sense of smell. So I found, I think, 25 what do you call those big blocks of naphthalene, moth, for killing moths, in one of his closets. So I wondered, I went to stay there and my eyes started watering and I was just feeling so ill. And I opened the closet and it was like, oh, I was overwhelmed by this smell. And I said, my God, no wonder you two are so sick. All your closets are full of bags full of naphthalene. I collected. I had this huge bag full of naphthalene. My dad said, I can't smell it. And so I put the bag, not very healthy, but I put the bag under his nose. I said, can you smell that? He said, no, I cannot smell it at all. So now I could have said the naphthalene makes me sick. It causes me to be sick. So if naphthalene had that power, wouldn't it have caused my father to feel nauseous when he smelt it? So it didn't have the same effect because the senses were under functioning. So it seems the senses were the what's the common denominator here in this? Yeah. So some people, for example, you could say, I put my hand on a hot stove and it makes me feel pain. But some people we know have this, pathology where they experience no pain. They can cut themselves, they could be tortured. They don't feel pain. So then what would it be that knife makes me feel, but it can't make you feel? So it seems the senses don't. I'm just asking these questions. So it seems the senses are key to our experiencing. Yes?
It's our beliefs about it.
Well, let's say you've never seen a dead rat before, you don't know anything about dead rats. You walk into the room and your sense of smell meets the dead rat. It's been dead for 3 days. Do you have to have any beliefs about it to have an experience of the dead rat? Probably if you have a good sense of smell, there's going to be some nausea or something. So what are you saying? The beliefs are more important than the senses? So does thinking come before sensing?
No, sensing and then thinking.
Why? Why do you come to that conclusion?
Because I think the sense somehow produces the thought.
Well, I'm 6 years old. Explain to me now how does seeing and smelling and tasting and touching come before thinking?
Without the senses, there is no experience. And without experience, there would be no thoughts. There's nothing to think about if you have no experience. So you have to have the senses to have the experience, and then that experience brings up thoughts.
So what is the purpose of the senses? It might seem a silly question, but it's just putting everything in writing. So what's the purpose of the senses?
To experience.
Experience, yeah.
What's the purpose of experiencing? So you're saying the senses are how I experience, or they bring about experience, or they... So what's the purpose of the senses? What's the purpose of sight? What's the purpose of smell? What's the purpose of touch? What's the purpose of any of the senses? What's their purpose?
To be able to interact with this life. They give us the awareness of life.
Senses give me awareness of life. But what's the point of them? What's the point of that?
Experience ourselves.
What's the purpose of smell?
Oh, to inform.
Yes. So the senses inform me about my world. Mm-hmm.
Well, they inform me about me.
The senses inform me about me. Expand on that.
They tell me what is me and what is not me.
So the senses inform what else? My choices, my decisions. So I put my hand on a hot stove. The senses inform me to quickly take my hand off, even before I have time to think. Eh? So just for a moment, close your eyes and think. So roughly, what percentage are you informed by your mind, first thing that comes to you? And what percentage of the time are you informed by your senses, first thing that comes to you? So which rules in our life? What do we consider more important in our life?
The mind.
Yeah, so, yeah. So, what informs me the most? Senses or mind? Yeah. Mind informs me what percentage, roughly, of the time? Most of the time, yeah?
Yeah, I mean the percentage that came to mind for me was 90%. It's like 90% of the time.
Yes.
Probably even more than that if I was.
We want to be honest about it, but if we're going to be honest about it, I'd say 100% of the time. My mind is there 100% of the time. I know that, philosophically, I understand that that's not, but that it's just what it is. It's my mind.
So that's where that's what we experience predominantly, yes? So, sorry, I'll never get used to having a European keyboard. So mind is my primary experience most of the time, yeah?
So all of us
So
intuition.
most of the time, my convictions inform me. So we look at how long we've been doing this, a year and a half, even if we've just done it twice. I mean, we've seen the convictions we have and how contradictory they are, just for one word, like love or sex or money or even conflict we just did. So here we have a mind full of conflicts. And anytime there's an overreaction, which must be most of the time, because anytime we think something makes us feel good or bad, that's an overreaction. We're blaming. Yes. So, and most of the time, don't we want to feel something other than we're actually feeling? And we're saying, if only this would happen or that would happen. In other words, if that happens, I will feel better. So this thing that hasn't happened yet, we're already blaming as the cause for our experience, the experience we want to have. Yes, so this is, to me, this is conflict. This is the vicious circle that we live in. Yeah.
Naming something else or someone else for how I feel.
That's the cause, but and also that I am a slave to the mind. I'm putting the mind before my sensual experience. So here we are, human sensual beings, and we look at the world that we're being sucked into. It appears more and more. You look at now how much time we spend on computers, yes, and this is where we're getting informed by our mind is constantly seduced and informed by something out there, yes, and never not formulating proper questions, asking how and why, I understand this, but how? I understand that, but why? Yeah? So more and more, our mind is just seduced by out there. And hand in hand with the feeling out there makes me feel, yeah. It's no wonder we go and do all these spiritual retreats, trying to neutralize the mind and calm the mind and quieten the mind. So meditation and all these things are really powerful. But if we don't also explore this, chances are meditation's a band-aid, yeah, unless we're very, very lucky. And we're destined that something or other is going to somehow cut through the mind. But for most of us, we need to explore. Like, gosh, so my whole life is ruled by this one belief. Yeah. Life makes me feel. Yeah. And that means, so if life makes me feel, it means life is to blame.
And I am in constant conflict.
Yeah, and I am sentenced to a life of constant conflict. Yeah, at the mercy of this and that. Yeah. So how are you feeling right now? Getting to have this look at this. What's happening in you? What's your experience? Anybody?
There's a level of sadness that this is not only for this, but for all of humanity that is going through this.
Right. So then just focus on this, what you're calling sadness. Just give it your attention. Ask your mind to be quiet for a moment and see what it is. So you don't need words for it. You don't need to explain it. You're just going to give it attention. What happens? What happens? Were you able to do that without thinking about it, giving a story about it? Yes, no? What happened? Anybody?
Compassion.
Hmm?
I felt compassion.
Compassion. Okay, so focus on that. Don't give a story to it. Don't give it a name to it. Just give it attention, this experience. What happens?
For me, it's like it's a release of tension. It's similar to like when I'm receiving a massage. You know, I notice the tension. I bring awareness to the tension as the therapist is doing their work, and then it just a
Right.
release.
Release, yeah. I don't even want to put words to it.
Right. But it's something, yeah, it shifts. So when we don't put a story to it, yeah, it shifts. Yeah. So what is causing most of the experiences that we don't like? Is it the state of the economy? Is it climate change? Is it my next door neighbor? Is it my husband, my wife? Where's the real issue?
In our mind.
Yes, it's that. So
Worries.
this makes me feel. So what's actually happened is senses meet object, and immediately the mind comes, hijacks the experience, and puts a story to it. There's the tension. There's the problem. Yes. So everything else comes after that. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't mean that the economy is not a mess and the politics and it doesn't matter, all those things aren't happening. But what changes if my mind stops hijacking my experiences?
Then I just experience.
And then, but there's still a situation outside I'm still having to live with. I'm still
I'm
going to
just-
have to deal with.
Practicality happens.
Yeah, so I'm able to be more behave more practically. Yes, so this we know from breakthrough step 3. So when I'm tense and uptight, which is what all the stories do, whether they're good or bad, they create a tension. Yes, it's like, this is really good. I don't want this feeling to stop. Tension. This is really bad. So there's not just a story about how good this feels. There's immediately a story about, let's keep this going. You know, you make me feel, don't you dare change. Mm-hmm. So thoughts. So this was the most powerful thing my teacher ever said to me. Thoughts are the tension. And the minute he said that, it was like, oh, that is so simple and so obvious. And I'd never just even seen those simple words. It's like, thoughts are the tension. Yeah. So it's not that we need to get rid of thoughts or stop them, but we do need to question them. And the big thought makes me feel. So this was practical questioning, yes? So when we are not tense, of course, it stands to reason we're going to function better when we're not in tension. You know? So this is really the purpose of this work. I mean, it always keeps on, any conflict we ever dealing with always comes down to this simple equation. Yeah? It makes me feel. There's the conflict. Hmm? So now we've explored. So how exactly does that happen? What's the real dynamics? Yeah? So before we even do 7 steps of breakthrough, we already now have a different understanding of this. Yeah, it's not going to make it makes me feel this conviction go anywhere. It's been lifelong, but it's put into perspective for a moment. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So now the nervous system has some different information. Yeah. So the more often, the deeper this goes in by whatever work we do, you know, the more the nervous system starts to also get this understanding, it's going to start self-adjusting. This is what all the work's about. This is why, you know, the more we do steps and the different things in breakthrough, we experience these shifts. We haven't got rid of anything, yeah, but the nervous system, that's its nature. It's always moving towards healing. That's its job, you know, but it needs a bit of help. So like in BodyTalk, you know, the body needs a bit of help because it just gets overloaded and just everything, like the, what do you call it? The fuse box blows, yeah, and everything switches. So it needs to be recalibrated. So this is what this does. So how are you feeling in your body right now? Anybody? Is this helping?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So you said thoughts are the tension. Thoughts are the tension. So obviously we can't control our thoughts. Thoughts are going to come and go. So then it stands to reason that tension is also going to come and go, right? There's always going to be tension, it's not like we can completely eliminate tension from our lives, right? I mean, and that seems to be like a goal-oriented thing that so many of us are really shooting for a lot of times. Like, eliminate, I want no stress in my life, completely no stress, no tension in my life.
Mhm.
So if thoughts are the tension, I mean, and thoughts come and go, you can't control, they're just, you know.
Okay, so let's explore it and see then. So what causes tension? So now we already have an understanding, yeah?
Thoughts.
Yes, but it's not just thoughts, is it? What causes the tension? They are the tension, but there's something else, huh? So
The
let's
story.
So make sentences.
The story I create causes tension.
So bring thoughts into it.
Doubting my experiences causes tension in me.
Okay. So put it into other words, Mona. So
The thoughts about my experience causes tension.
so for me, thinking my feelings causes tension. I don't know if it causes, it is tension, yes? Thinking my feelings is tension. So much of the time we think feelings, we don't feel them, huh? So because they're hijacked so quickly, we think them. So thinking my experiences is tension. Mm-hmm.
My desire to hold on to experiences.
So my desire is tension. Is the desire, is it the desire that's tension?
Holding on.
But yeah,
Holding on is tension.
but what does that mean, holding on to a desire? So holding on to the desire, you're saying? So isn't it needing to fulfill my desire? Oops.
Needing to have desires, because once one desire has been fulfilled, there's another one that just pops up. So it's like needing to have desires, even. There's just this, on one hand, there's a desire to get rid of desires because we know that they create tension, but on the other hand, getting rid of one desire or having that fulfilled just brings up another desire. So
It
it's like,
brings it up, but we're not saying we need a desire. I mean, something comes before, the need comes before the desire, no? So the need is the desire.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. So need is desire is tension. So
But what about in a situation? I mean, we need food, we need to breathe.
Yeah, that's why I changed need to want.
Oh, okay.
So want is desire is tension. Yes. So then involvement is tension. Yeah. So isn't that involvement? So because I desperately want that mango, yes, I have to have it, and the idea is then, if I get it, that what? I will be fulfilled. Yeah, so desiring fulfillment is tension. But then I get the mango and I eat it, and what happens?
I want something else.
Yeah, or I want to stop feeling bloated, or yeah. So desiring fulfillment is tension. So there's there's involvement, yes. And when the involvement, when I'm fulfilled, the desire stops, yes. So actually, the fulfillment I want is for the desire to stop, not the mango. Mm-hmm.
But the fulfillment is fleeting.
Yes, so the idea is the mango will make me feel. Yes. So what I really want to stop is the make me feel belief. Yeah. So desire is wanting the make me feel conviction to stop.
And then you're in a spiral again.
Yeah. So this is all the tension, yes? Mm-hmm. So then we want to stop the tension. So clearly then alcohol, drugs, yeah, seems like the only way in the end, no? Or
Just experience. That sounds
that's
easy.
just words, isn't it? So what needs to happen? Well, really, what we've just been doing. Yeah. So what we've just been doing, understanding the dynamics of this. Yeah. So when we're desiring, I think I'm desiring a bottle of whiskey. Yeah. I'm desiring it because it's going to make me feel better. So the idea of what I'm really wanting is this idea of make me feel to stop. Because that's what's keeping me feeling out of control and a victim. Yeah? And then, of course, we get blind drunk. So we feel more and more out of control.
And somehow there's a glitch here in my brain
Right.
that's not
Question.
it's not getting this.
Right.
I mean,
that's why you have to ask questions. I'm just talking. You need to
yeah. So I'm somehow not making that connection. I mean, on some level I am.
But
The
ask
part of
questions. But
what you just said about that example. So I desire this bottle of I want to smoke pot. I want to
All
get
right.
stoned.
What is so let's see, what is desire? What's the question? Let's look at desire then. Or what is the purpose of what does desire do? What's the question, Ben, to help you with this? Let's do what is desire. First of all, what is desire?
Desire is want.
Wanting something. Yeah.
Wanting something. Yes. Okay. Next question.
Why do I desire? Why do you desire?
Why do I desire? anything, no matter what it is, sex, money, drugs, oblivion,
To feel
Like-
fulfillment.
Hmm?
To feel fulfillment.
okay. So why do I desire to feel something else, no?
Yeah, I was
Something
gonna
I'm not
say,
feeling right now.
yeah, to feel differently than I feel now.
Right. Okay, next question.
Why do
Why do I want to feel different?
Why do you want to feel different?
Because I don't like what I'm feeling now.
Which is totally reasonable. I mean, I'm in excruciating pain. I don't want to feel that. Yes. What's the next question? So when your mind disagrees, Ben, you need to find questions to get out of that. So what happens when I get the object of desire? Well, desire stops.
Right?
Mhm.
Tension goes away. The
I feel different.
And
Gives me a sense of fulfillment.
beg your pardon?
Gives me a sense of fulfillment.
I feel fulfilled. Yeah. It gives, no, I have to put your words. So it gives me is the same as it makes me feel, isn't it?
Mhm.
Yes. So what usually happens when I get what I desire, I have it, my desire stops, the tension stops, I feel different. What happens now?
given over my power to that desire.
Well, no, not intellectually. What happens in our experience now? I save and save and save, and I get this Maserati. I'm feeling really cool now. My desire stops.
I don't want to lose it.
Don't want to lose it. Yes. I do not want to lose it. So what's happening now?
I have another desire.
Well, yes. So I desire holding on. Yeah.
And the tension's back.
Tension. So
Yeah.
right here,
Yeah.
so we've got desire stops, tension stops. I feel different. And then what happens at this moment here? It gives me a sense of fulfillment. It makes me feel what's happening there to the experience.
It just flipped.
Yeah, how? What happened? What came in?
Think about what I'm experiencing.
Story. Yes. Story comes in. Yeah. It makes me feel. That's a story. It gives me a sense. It makes me feel. I don't want to lose it. I desire holding on. Tension returns.
Okay.
Then, are you getting any clearer or not?
Yeah, that's definitely clear. I don't know if I can articulate it right now, but it's definitely clear.
So what was unclear before?
That I think the flip there of how tension stopping turned back into tension returning.
Yes. So desire.
And then and that part of the make me feel, what did you write there up above? Making me feel, wanting the making me feel to stop, wanting the make me feel up further before we went into this part.
So what
Yeah.
is desire?
Desire
Desire is wanting.
wanting the make me feel conviction to stop. That's where I wasn't.
Oh, is wanting to make me feel conviction to stop. Right.
Yeah.
So here, story comes in. It makes me feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that I'm wanting the object to keep on making me feel a particular way. But what really needs to happen is that the makes me feel conviction needs to be seen. Yeah. So, in BreakThrough, always emphasize that overreactions are healthy. So what's the purpose of an overreaction, seeing as we're dealing with conflict?
And I was going to say there, tension returns, and so does conflict.
Yeah, returns. Yeah. Okay, so what is the so no. Does an overreaction have a purpose? First things that come to you.
Makes me look at myself. Makes me look at why.
Yes. So that's a good makes me, yes?
Yes.
It makes me. So overreactions inform me. Yeah. Something needs addressing. But usually, because the overreaction is all about something making me feel, we fixate on the object that we think is causing the feeling. Yeah. Instead of the makes me feel. You see, so it keeps on coming back to this simple glitch in the machine, yeah? That the real problem keeps on coming back to it. It's the idea things make me feel that's the problem. This profound conviction.
Yeah, overreaction highlights the tension, highlights my tension.
Overreaction helps me see my stories or the stories I'm telling myself and others.
So overreactions are invaluable, yeah? So sitting around trying to stop overreactions by numbing ourselves with drugs or, or sometimes even, so-called healthy ways that we try to stop overreactions can be quite unhealthy. Yeah? It's like, working with someone the other day and been meditating for 20 years, and in extreme overreaction, couldn't even admit that there was wasn't even aware that it was an overreaction. Yet we're in great distress. Yeah. So was a master meditator. But you see, the things that we master, those are a gift and a curse, because they become our best defenses.
So overreactions help us understand at a deep level. Or,
Well, not necessarily. It depends what we do with them.
well, yes, okay.
Totally what we do with them, yes. And usually we do nothing. We just spend a lot of time with the desire to get rid of them. Because the overreactions make me feel bad. Yeah, but it's not. It's the makes me feel that's the problem. Keeps on coming back. What, Ben?
I was just going to say that story about the meditator, just it reminds me of many clients, I think, that I see, but one in particular comes to mind of, one of just the idea of being the master coper, and just always putting a smile on her face, and like not wanting to get angry, not wanting to express anger, and she's just laughs, and there's just all this kind of very it seems like such like a lifelong habit of the power of positive thinking. And I'm just like, sometimes I just want to shake her, like, stop acting so nice. You don't have to act so nice all the time.
Yeah.
But and then a client, it's also this whole last section is reminding me of the client I had just before I hopped on this call and she was talking about, she couldn't understand, I commented in an email to her about, she said she made a comment that, I don't mind my physical symptoms so much because they distract me from the emotional pain I'm almost always in. And so I said to her, can you see how maybe that's why your physical symptoms aren't, going away, because there isn't a lot of incentive really to get rid of them. And then she said, comments like that make me feel stupid. She said, for the past 30 years, I've been working on my beliefs, and I've been trying to change my beliefs. And since you wrote that email, I've been working on trying to think differently, and I've been working on changing my beliefs. And so then, we got into this discussion about changing your beliefs and this idea of beliefs make me feel. My beliefs make me feel a certain way. So this has been helpful, putting a different, just another understanding to that. My beliefs make me feel XYZ.
Yeah, I heard an interesting interview the other day with, not an interview. Well, yes, it was an interview with, and I can't remember, a very respected teacher, apparently awake teacher, seems to be, and said it's remarkable how many people do, spiritual pathways, and actually there is a degree of enlightenment or even enlightened, and yet they're highly reactionary afterwards. And he says, it's a shame that they didn't do the work beforehand, because they still have that, their bodies still have the tension of that. Yeah. So really interesting. So you know, the mind was still going to go on, even if that happens, that there can still be quite reactionary. You know, you think, I mean, Nisargadatta was an example, and he was clearly very, awake, and yet still there was that tension happened in the body. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of anger expressed through that little body. I remember seeing videos of him in.
Yes. So probably yes. There was a not at all the same experience, but still, it pointed out that yes, that doing this work, I mean, this Jnana Yoga, it has a very distinct place in all of this. And this isn't about being enlightened. It's simply about being able to feel fully, live a more full life. Just being able to feel everything fully. Because if we're thinking, while we're thinking our feelings and pulling up from the feelings, we are going to never experience them fully, and they're just going to stay stuck. Huh? So then we're living a constant overreaction, a constant conflict. This is why most of us are in overreaction almost all the time, but we don't know it. That's why we're in tension most of the time, but we're so used to it. And we don't realize if someone puts their hand in, oh, didn't realize I was so tense till you touch me. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you say, we use in this work breakthrough, we talk about, we use that phrase feeling fully so often, but just now when you said that feeling fully, I caught this little glimpse of and feeling in my body of like the story around feeling fully, like the overwhelm, like would I even be able to handle feeling fully, or whatever stories there are about feeling fully.
It is so easy to get caught up in the words. And
well, we're totally caught up in the words.
I mean, yeah, but it is so easy to do that. And that's what, I think that we have to be mindful of, is that the whole feeling fully, yes, that is what, but then we get caught up in the words of feeling fully, and that's what we want to express to everybody. Oh, but all you need to do is just feel life fully. And
well, it's not all you need to do, but then just observing the little child. I mean, they feel so fully, and express so fully, and then it's like turning a tap off. Yeah. Because they felt fully. It's because we don't feel fully that it gets stuck. Yes. And it stays like a stuck, needle on a record if you're old enough. Yes. So how can anything felt fully go on and on and on? It's not going to. And like, when you experience just something and then you ask the mind to take a vacation from, and don't name it, don't label it, don't explain or put a story to it, very often then the feeling will be felt fully and or even disappear. Yes, Linda.
In this thing today, I'm still stuck at the part, you just reminded me of it, of when Diane said there was like a sadness, and you asked us to, which I felt as well, or at least I labeled it as such, but you asked us to just feel it without mental involvement.
Without putting a story or explaining.
Right. Mm-hmm. But I wasn't able to do it, and so now I'm still stuck there.
Uh-huh. Okay, so it doesn't matter. So maybe your mind doesn't want to take a vacation. Yeah. So that's something, and the mind might go, no, but. You need me to explain. I've done that all your life. I'm not going to stop now. But maybe there'll come a moment where it's like, just for a moment, I just want to give this experience my attention. You don't need to explain it to me. It's okay. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it works. So this is all about slowly or fast, you know, communicating to our nervous system that we want our mind to serve us well now, serve us in a way that's beneficial to us. So the mind hasn't done anything wrong, but it's never actually been trained. So now through questioning everything that comes our way as clearly as possible, we're getting the mind's but to go, oh, yeah. So we experience as we do this, doesn't your mind calm as you do this? And then there comes another but. Yes. So the mind calms because the nervous system's getting some logic. It's just logical what we're doing. We're not inventing or philosophizing. We're exploring our direct experience. Yeah. So the mind doesn't argue with that. Mm-hmm. So the more you do that, the more your mind will start serving and your nervous system will self-adjust. And it'll be easier to just give attention to the feeling. But it also takes some discipline to do that. Yes, because it's like, oh, but if the mind stops thinking, yeah, because it's such a strong identity. So don't get stuck on it, Linda. It's not a big deal.
Well, but then also there can be the sense of impatience, like in an example of pain, like whether it's a physical pain or emotional, psychological pain. It's like, I want the pain to stop now.
Yeah, well, then sometimes we do take practical action and take a pill. Yeah. So any kind of pain, is informing us you need to take action. So what was the point you were making?
I think Linda's comment was just reminding me again of this clients that I just mentioned, of how, I've been trying all these 30 years trying to change my beliefs and the pain isn't going away. And just kind of this, it's almost like this obsessive aspect of her mind that's like trying to get the pain to stop, and nothing that she's tried has made that pain go away. I don't know, so whatever Linda said just kind of made me think about that.
Yes, I always quote Rilke because
because you said, you said something like either quickly or slowly, things recalibrate. I'm like, quickly.
Yeah. Well, I'm always quote Rilke, but I just when I read that the first time, and it's a translation, but perhaps all the dragons of our lives are but something helpless wanting help from us. And so I think of experiences depending on what they are. I mean, some of them are like dragons, but I think, well, then if we thought of them like little children, our experiences. So much of the time we want to dismiss the bad ones and hold on to the good ones. But if we treated them more like little children and gave them attention and just saw what they were actually communicating, So does that help at all, Linda? Maybe treat it in that way. It's just something helpless wanting help from you. Yes? Just wanting your attention. So sometimes a child just wants to be looked at, just wants to be seen. Just little steps, but you can't effort, you can't force. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and that's definitely where my sense of that this clients, there's so much effort and trying to force something to happen that it was stressing her. It was just so stressful on her nervous system. It was yeah.
I know an important piece for me a long time ago was when you said, I don't remember if it was in a breakthrough or a satsang or just in a personal conversation we've had, I don't remember, but it was that the whole thing about when we get something we want, right away the thought is, oh my God, this is never going to last, and boom, there it's gone. Or when we're feeling something that is so awful and so like pain or whatever, oh my God, this is never going to go away. When is this going to, it just makes it stay longer and longer and longer, you know? And when I heard that, I started to realize where that happens in my life, and became more aware of that in instances, and very slowly was able to see when just bringing awareness to, oh my goodness, this is what just happened. You just perpetuated this angst longer because of the thought of this is never going to go. Just reminding myself of that, and not because you always told me stop beating up on yourself, Diane, be kind, be gentle to yourself. Because I was constantly beating up on myself for things that I was doing or thinking, or, that created those kinds of situations. And just bringing awareness to it, okay, there is another situation right there where I just perpetuated that, or that good feeling just went away because whatever, just a thought of that, and not giving it the, like, beating up on myself for it, but just bringing the awareness that there we go again. There is another example of it. There, I just did that again, slowly made those experiences not totally go away. They still happen. They still occur, but they don't occur nearly as often anymore, which I'm very grateful for. And so it is the awareness of it, I think, that's really important, just bringing that.
And we can't power of positive thinking our way out of it, hey? No. So did this help with your, was this a helpful exploration of conflict, Mariana? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, to me, it's the most basic thing. Just keep on coming back to this, and it just seems it can't be that simple, surely, that all of life's problems really stem from this one conviction. Yeah, but when we look at it, it seems that so many of them do. Yeah, most of them. Mm-hmm. Okay. So between now and next time, this was really good exploration. See if you put this into your own words, this how do experiences happen. So it's one thing, to put it in, well, we did it together, but really putting it in your own words is going to be the most helpful. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Ben, anything else? No? Okay.
Nope, not right now.
Right. Yes. So we had these others, busy and communication and money, but still, wouldn't really matter what word we explored. This was really at the root of all of them, I think, was a great one to do. Okay. All right. Thank you so much.